All right, the next category of items that I'm working on are clothing layers that I'm going to be using while I'm on the move or in camp. But the important distinction is that they're not just for camp, they can also be used while I'm on the move. So, number one, a down jacket. So, this is a heavier weight down jacket than I would use in the summer. So this is, I'm partial to Feathered Friends, but they've got a Helios jacket, which is a nice mid-weight down garment. And so I put that in its own stuff sack. Again, not a compression bag, but just a stuff sack. And again, this one is gray because it's a critical life-saving item that I need to keep dry. So anything that I absolutely positively have to keep dry is gray. But again, you shouldn't do that. It's just me. Okay. The next category, Gore-Tex top and bottom. I've had people show up on winter trips without Gore-Tex pants, and I do not recommend that because you're going to be sitting on snow a lot. So I've got a lightweight, very durable jacket that I really like. On the Gore-Tex side, I'm partial to Arc'teryx, but again, you have to go with the brand that you like. One really critical thing to remember when you're sizing your Gore-Tex is that it has to be able to fit over your down layer or your insulating layers. And so this jacket may need to be sized one step up from your normal summertime size. So just keep that in mind. So when I purchased this jacket, I bought it a size larger than I historically would have because I knew that it had to fit over this very thick down jacket. So I tend to roll this up. Okay, and surprise, surprise, I have a different color stuff sack. This is blue, so anything that I know is going to be wet for sure, I put it in blue. And then I have Gore-Tex pants. One thing that I think is super important for winter pants is that they have a full zip because if you have to put them on, it would be, and you're wearing snowshoes, you would really like to not have to take off your snowshoes and take off your boots when it's super cold out. And so I want to be able to put on or take off Gore-Tex layers without having to take off my boots or my snowshoes. So full side zips, very important, at least to me. Again, I'll roll this up. All right, gloves. So I bring two sets of gloves. One, you've probably seen these. These are fish processing gloves. They're Showa Temres. They're super inexpensive, like $25. They have a modest amount of insulation, but they are absolutely waterproof. And these are great for when I'm on the move. They're also great when I'm in camp and setting up or tearing down. When your hands are in the snow, you're digging out your camp kitchen or you're digging holes for your dead man anchors. So anytime my hands are going to be in contact with snow, I'm wearing these because they're absolutely totally waterproof. Now, but again, they just have modest amount of insulation. So I have some thicker, warmer gloves. And I personally like 3-finger mitts because it gives me the dexterity with my thumb and the index finger. You'll see here, I can't really show you that effectively, but there you go. So your thumb and your index finger get their own coverage, and then your three other fingers go in here. And I like this because it's much warmer, but I still have some dexterity. Let's say if I'm trying to, cut open a thing of coffee. So I've got my two pairs of gloves. And green, I use green bags for anything that is a layer that I'm going to be using on the move, on trail. So again, don't do what I do. I'm just being ridiculous. Okay. Now, I like to have a synthetic insulating layer that I can use while I'm on the move. Okay, so I'm doing a bad job of displaying this, but some people have a Patagonia R1. This is a nano air light hybrid, I believe. So it's just a minimal amount of insulation, synthetic insulation that I can use if it's cold while I'm moving. I'm not going to snowshoe with my down jacket on because it's too hot and I don't want to get it wet with perspiration. So it's important to have synthetic insulation that you can use while you're moving. And so pick whatever you like. I happen to like Patagonia Nano Air. And again, because I'm using this while I'm on the move, green stuff sack. Okay, now we're talking about light. And again, these are things that you're using while you're on the move or you're trekking. So pair of glacier glasses. I personally like Jolbos because they're photochromatic and they lighten and darken as required. When you're winter camping, it has happened to me many, many times when all of a sudden it's pouring snow, the snow is blowing right into your eyes. Sunglasses are just not going to be sufficient. So I always bring a pair of goggles with me. And again, these are, pick the brand that you like. But for me, I like Jolbos because they're photochromatic. They darken and lighten as required. And this particular model is really slick because you can pull it out so that you get lots of ventilation. They don't fog up. But glacier glasses and goggles, super important when you're trekking in the winter. And then of course, headlamp required for when you're in camp. So these three items, I'm going to be using these during the day. So they go up top, but I put them in yellow because it has to do with light and power. So again, don't do what I do with color coordination, but it's just how it works for me. All right, so now all of the clothing layers that I'm going to be using while I'm on the move are in these 5 stuff sacks. And now I'm going to place them inside my backpack.